welcome back to my channel. Happy Wednesday. As you can tell by the title of this video, it's going to be 10 baby boy names we love but won't be using. If you saw my last video, you know that we are having a baby girl, so obviously that's the biggest reason we're not using any of these names. But there is going to be what would have been our baby boy's name at the end of this video. So you can click through to that or just keep watching if you want to hear more baby boy names. I'm just going to jump right in, and just like in our last video, these names are in no particular order. They're just names that I really liked for a little boy. As I'm looking down this list, I'm realizing that I definitely have a type when it comes to boy names, and I know I do for girl names. For girl names, I really love really girly, feminine, pretty girl names, and for boys, I really love country boy names. That's what I like for a little boy. Without further ado, let's just jump in with number 1, which also happens to be number 1 on the baby list. And as like I did last time, these, like, the number of popularity is going to come off the baby center list for 2019. So that's what these numbers are based off of. You might go to a different website and find something different. But just based off this website, which is the one that I like to use when I'm looking for baby names, is Noah. Noah is, I think it's tied for number 1 with a different boy's name, but I love the name Noah. I think Noah would be such a cute, sweet little boy. I always felt that for my boys. They're like, oh, James would be so sweet, or Jax would be so sweet, and they're very rough and tumble little boys. So I just feel like that's such a sweet and precious boy's name. But Tristan doesn't like it. He's never liked the name Noah. I've always brought up the name Noah, and he just doesn't like it. And I don't think I don't think he hates it. I think he's just a name that, you know, it's like, that's just not my son's name, you know? And like, even though I really love it, I would never use it because honestly, for several years, it's been one of the number 1 top 5 boys' names. And a lot of people name their boys Noah now. Which obviously, like, my boys have really popular names, so I mean, we're trying to break a cycle. But moving on to number 2 is Blake. And I think, again, back to the whole, I really like country boy names. I feel like it really fits in that kind of genre of boy names. I feel like it's so cute. Just think of a little Blake, and I see Blake as like a little teenage boy in like a pickup truck. I don't know why I would think that. As a mom, I think that is so cute. But I'm seeing it more as a girl's name now, that people really use the name Blake for a girl. And maybe it's because there's Blake Lively. I don't know. This name just got really popular for a girl. And I was going to look it up before this video, and maybe I'll put it at the end if I look it up really quick. But I almost bet that in popularity, it is more popular for a girl than it is for a boy. I don't know. If you look that up, let me know and tell me if it is more popular for a girl, because I'm genuinely interested. My third name, and this is a name that we thought of for James after we had him and really thought this would have been perfect. Jameson. I love the name Jameson. Tristan loves the name Jameson. And we thought, like, after we heard this name, wow, that would have been like the perfect spin on James's name. And James is named after someone, so that's why we named him James. I don't actually like the name James, but I feel like Jameson would have been a really good spin on that, to have his own unique name, but it was only named after that person. But the reason we heard that name, we fell in love with it. If you have Netflix and you watch The Ranch, there's a character, his name is Rooster, but his nickname is Rooster, but his actual name is Jameson. And when we heard that, we were like, that would have been perfect. Why did we not find that name? That is so perfect for James. And we jokingly call him that all the time, but that's obviously not his name. He doesn't come to it or anything. He doesn't hear it enough. But I love the name Jameson. We'll obviously never use it because we have James. We would have James and Jameson, and I don't think that would work out. James is sitting next to me, destroying stuff. Hey, James. So moving on to my 5th name, which I'm actually going to tie into my 6th name, because I like them for the same reason, and they all have the same reason I won't use them. So it's my fourth and my fifth name. I love the name Mason, and I love the name Logan. And again, I feel like both of these names fit in that like country boy genre of boy names. Have it. And they both are very popular names. They're both top 10 names, which is a big reason we won't use them. But the actual reason we won't use them is because these are both Tristan's cousins' names, and there are boys' cousins' names. And these, Mason and Logan, are actually brothers. They're both preschool and under. They're our boys' age. And I feel like we couldn't have two Masons or two Logans. I don't know. His family's just too close-knit for us to choose those names. No, if they were like really far off, distant family that we never hear of ever, I would definitely consider using one of these names. But his family is too close-knit for us to pretty much steal their kid's name. But moving on to number 6 is Nathan. And this is what I wanted James's name to be. And I will talk about a little more James's name and the argument that went into his name. I think next week it will be my revamped teen pregnancy video where I can talk more about what happened with his name. But I wanted to name him Nathan. And the reason I will never use the name Nathan now is because if I wanted it for one kid and I thought of them at any point as that name, it's over there, I won't use it again for my other babies. Like, I just feel like that was at one time this kid, so I'm not using it for this kid. I don't know. But moving on to number 7 is Zane. And this one was originally Jackson's name. Jackson was many names. He was at first Zane, then Austin. He was Colton for a long time. That's actually what his gender announcement was with. His name was Colton. If you go back in my Facebook, the actual announcement says Colton. And then, what was he after that? He was Ben at one time. He was Luke. He was multiple things. We finally, at the very end, I was like 35, 36 weeks pregnant when he became Jackson. But again, we won't ever use the name for that reason, but we also don't feel like it fits with our boy's name. Like, we have James, Jackson, and then Zane. I don't feel like that would fit together because Zane's kind of like an edgy name, and then James and Jackson are very like more old traditional names. And also the spelling that I'm giving you guys when I put it down here with like the number, Z-A-N-E, we actually would have spelled it Z-A-Y-N-E, so I don't know what the popularity is in that. I feel like it's a lot less popular in that spelling, but it's the same name. Moving on to, I think we're at number 8. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm tired, guys. Is Samuel. And I love the name Samuel. I don't like the nickname Sam or Sammy. I just like the name Samuel. But I know if we named our boy Samuel, everybody would just call him Sam or Sammy. So that's kind of why I don't use it. But also because this name is not as popular as it used to be. If you are people my age and older naming their kids this now. But when I was a kid, I've met so many Samuels in my life. I grew up, probably in every class I've ever had in school, there was at least one Samuel. My whole middle school experience, I think there were just 4 in my grade. So, and then I lived in a really small town where there were multiple Samuels. Daddy. So the name's just a little too popular for me, even if the kids nowadays aren't big name that the kids nowadays. I felt really old when I said that, and I am 19. Moving on to number 9, I know it's 9, I'm back on track, is Lucas. I actually almost used that if we had had a boy this time, but I've never been able to commit to this name. I love the name Lucas. I've only ever met one boy my whole life, in real life, you know, whose name was Lucas. I just think that's such a cute name. I think it's so cool and just cute. but I just never commit to it. I don't know why. Tristan, it is not his favorite name. He prefers Luke over Lucas, and I prefer Lucas over Luke. So, and we try to agree as much as possible on our children's names, because naming your child something, and I'll get into this in another video, naming your child something you absolutely did not want to name them, and then having to do that for like literally your whole life, your child will be named that. It's not, you get used to it, but for a while it's still kind of irritating. Moving on to our 10th baby name is Matthew. When I was about 6 or 7, I had a baby doll. It was like, it was one of those water babies. It was meant for the bathtub, but it was meant for the bathtub, but it would fill with water and get really gross and mold. But I had a baby doll that was replaced multiple times for that actual reason, who I named Matthew. And he was like a little chubby, tan, brown hair baby, which is almost exactly what James looked like when he was a newborn. He was not chubby. He was the tiniest of tiny baby, and he actually weighed more than they thought he would weigh. But he was tan and dark haired and the same amount of hair. I don't know, but I had named that baby doll Matthew. I've always loved the name Matthew. I think it is so cute. But Tristan doesn't like that name. And again, we like to agree on our names. So it'll be a name that we probably would never use. Even if we have a 4th baby, honestly, none of these names we'll probably ever use. But I still like them. But moving on to our bonus names, which would have been our baby boy's name if we had a 3rd boy. And Tristan chose this name, and he brought up this name. And usually when he brings up a name, I don't like it, because we just don't always agree. We agree on very few names. But I really liked this name. You're about to get another bonus name. So the name that I actually really liked, and I always bring up when I'm pregnant, was Bentley, which is a car, I think. And it's getting more popular. And our friend just actually named their dog Bentley. But I liked the name Bentley, and then with this baby, he goes, I really like the name Brentley, with like an R, it's Brentley. And I was like, you know, I like that, because it's very, I think he likes that country boy name thing too. And I feel like James, Jackson, and Brentley still goes. I like that name. I think it's so cute. I don't know, I like that name. I won't say we won't ever use that name. I don't know. I feel like if we had another boy, I might still want to use that name. It is just, I like that. But we never specifically agreed on the middle name. I'm going to talk about this other subject in a different video, but we have 2 boys, and I definitely wanted to have a girl. So I wasn't really too set on even really choosing anything for a boy until I was going to have a boy. Because if I had a boy, I was definitely going to have some gender disappointment. It was going to take a little bit to adjust to that idea of having a 3rd boy. But I could definitely say if this had been a boy, we probably would have used the name David for our middle name. And we like to name our children after people or have significance in their name. And David is actually... I had to take a pause because people were here, and then my son couldn't decide what he wanted to watch on TV. But anyways, I was saying I wanted to use the name David, and David is my uncle. So I don't see him very often. I've never really seen him often because he's in the military, and he moves to different like places. He's lived out of the United States for a long time. But I lost my train of thought. Basically, I just think him as a man is somebody I want my sons to look up to. I feel like he's such a good, like, the pinnacle of like a husband and father, and like he's a very hard worker, and that's somebody I want my sons to like be like. So I was trying to import the video over to my computer, and the clip was too long to like send over, I guess, because it just doesn't like to work. So I was having to send it in like portions, and I cannot get the last bit of the video to like go over. So it's easier just to refilm it. So we just want to say thank you for watching our video. We hope you enjoyed our 10 baby boy names that we love. I probably won't ever use, but we had a lot of fun making this, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you say bye-bye, friends?
Bye-bye, friends.